Good Sunday morning to everybody. Happy Sunday. Nice to see your faces. I am so thrilled and pleased to have as our guest today, Mr. Jami Lula.
As we step out of where we come from, walking tall in who we've become, being seen for all that we are is just one part of our love. I see you and you see me, we welcome each other to our destiny. All that we're here to express and nothing less, we dedicate and you bless. Oh, I am your safe place to land. You are my safe space to land. We've made a great place to dance. I am your safe place to land. You are my safe space to land. We've made a great place to dance. Safe place to land. I'll be your safe place to land. So we're walking in our new garden that we came here to cultivate, out of seeds that we'd planted long ago, through the winds of change and fade. I see you and you see me, we welcome each other to our destiny. All that we're here to express and nothing less, we celebrate and you bless. Oh, I am your safe place to land. You are my safe space to land. We've made a great place to dance. I am your safe place to land. You are my safe space to land. We've made a great place to dance. Safe place to land. I am your safe place to land. So we're grateful for all that we've been through, 'cause it brought us to where we are. And we wouldn't have wanted something else to replace this loving heart. I am you and you are me. We thank you, God, for all that we are here to be. All that we're here to express and nothing less, we dedicate and you bless. Oh, I am your safe place to land. You are my safe space to land. We've made a great place to dance. I am your safe place to land. You are my safe space to land. We've made a great place to dance. Oh, I am your safe place to land. You are my safe space to land. We've made a great place to dance. Safe place to land. I'll be your safe place to land. Safe place to land. I am your safe place to land. Thank you.
And now we invite the invisible members of our band to join us. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. I think I can make it now that the pain is gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here is that rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Look all around, there's nothing but blue skies. Look straight ahead, nothing but blue skies. We can see clearly now the rain is gone. And we can see all obstacles in our way. Soon we'll see rainbows we've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Please welcome to the Beamer, Reverend Dr. Keith Cox.
Thank you, Andy. I wasn't ready to dive into a dance move for that yet, so just see me in your mind's eye dancing to that. How about that? Some tropical thing. So good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living in Los Angeles. It's an honor and a privilege and a pleasure to have you here on this beautiful day in February 24th in the year 2019, also known as Oscar Sunday in Los Angeles. So I'm just going to say it. So my friends always say that's it's the equivalent to the gay Super Bowl. So that was good. You like that? So good. All right. So we are the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles. We're a metaphysical-based, new thought spiritual community that comes together every Sunday mornings. And we come together to be in community, to share time with each other from a like-minded perspective, to honor the divinity that exists within each and every one of us, and to not only just honor that, but share that in this closed environment, if you will, in a way of feeling the energy of our interconnectedness that exists. Some of the principles of the teachings of the science of mind, which is primarily what we studied here in this wonderful community that's been here for almost 30 years now, almost 30 years, is that there's only one power that exists in the universe, that we all both express it and experience it equally through our thoughts and beliefs and our actions and our reactions and our interactions in life. That is what then is the impetus to developing our consciousness, if you will. Our consciousness is the sum total of all mental activity, and that we live in a universe that is governed by spiritual law. So you and I individually and us collectively experience the result of what's taking place in our consciousness in form. That's the science of mind right there. So I'll see you next Sunday. But what I would like from that is a little applause. No, just kidding. A very concise way to look at the science of mind. However, we move into a broader sense of that here on Sunday mornings by having some humor a bit, right, Andy? We have some fabulous music each and every Sunday morning. And my goal and objective is to increase for each and every one of you the opportunity to step into the vision statement for our center, which is to support individuals finding their personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. So if you're here for the first time, welcome. If you're here for more than your first time, but here with a new state of mind, welcome. We'd like to honor all of those that are not only in the room, but that are watching on Facebook Live, here on the camera in front of me, as well as our live stream, which is live, obviously, live stream, or watching that later. We want to say a big hello to you and welcome into our environment where we practice the science of mind, which in its modern day incarnation is known as a philosophy, a faith, and a way of life. And so as our beloved founding minister, Dr. David Walker, used to say each and every Sunday morning, we welcome one and we welcome all. And so we kick off our service every morning, not only with great music. Our guest musician this morning is the one and only Jami Lula. We're so happy to have him in the house. And our co-music director and the inimitable Andy Belling. Happy to have him here today. But we begin with a ritual, and the opportunity of that ritual called Calling in the Light is to get yourself anchored and centered in the room, to acknowledge the light of the divine that exists within each and every one of us. A little music that this is kind of a call and response thing that will take place, and then you'll hear the last piece of that, which is known as affirmative prayer that our practitioner will do. Our practitioner of the day that just led a beautiful meditation upstairs, I'm inviting to the bema, is Reverend James Hartsburg. So James, come on up. And our illuminator of the day is someone who has become incredibly illuminated in the teachings of the science. Oh, it's Terry Dad. So our schedule got off a little bit, so Julia, you'll be next week. I forgot Terry was doing this. Terry, it's you. And he's here, but here's the deal.
And the notes say it was Reverend Lenore.
That's because I'm not gonna take this. Anyway, the reason is they all were moving their schedules around, which I approved. So we have a new schedule component right now today. It's Terry Dad, who is our former president of our board at one point, right? And for many years has done wonderful work. So let's welcome all of them as they call in the light within you.
Calling in the light, calling in the light, calling in the light of love.
Is that too loud?
Calling in the light, calling in the light, calling in the light of love.
Erwin's in here, so we called in sick.
Good morning. I'm Reverend James Hartsburg. And the ritual we perform this morning is called Calling in the Light.
And this security stuff.
Today, we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples and all faiths, all sentient beings, come from the one great universal presence, which we call Spirit. The purpose of this ritual is to draw into our gathering this morning a conscious awareness of our oneness and the qualities we possess as complete expressions of the divine. As we feel the vibrations shift during this experience, may we become ever more aware of the light of life that exists in and as all expressions of life, which includes you and me. The quality of the divine we use today in our ritual is power. Let's use this acronym of the word power during this ritual to create an opportunity for each of us to embrace our light in a more expansive way today. P, presenting. O, our. W, wholeness. E, enhances. And R, reality. Terry lights the first candle, P, which stands for presenting. In this context, presenting is the action of consciously sharing the presence. In the book, The Science of Mind, this is defined as follows. To meditate upon the presence of God is to indraw the universe into one's own soul. O, our, being with all of life. Dr. Holmes addresses this in this quote: The one Spirit has placed the stamp of individuality upon itself and called it you. W. This candle is illuminated for the wholeness. In spiritual terms, when we are speaking of the whole, we are speaking of the divine, which is also known as Source, God, the thing itself. E. Terry lights this candle for the word enhances. Synonyms for this word are intensify, increase, improves the quality. Let's note together that conscious engagement of our thought regarding our wholeness is intensified and increased, and all the benefit from this action. R stands for reality. In spiritual terms, reality means that which is indestructible, incapable of decay. It is unchanging and everlasting. Let's all know together as this ritual, that through this ritual, this is a reminder that we are all individualization expressions of the reality, and that we use this reality wisely, with compassion, and with ease. Power. P, presenting. O, our. W, wholeness. E, enhances. R, reality. As Terry lights the sixth candle and the final candle, that which is known as the healing candle, we ask that you take a moment and think of anyone you would like to silently put into the light of the healing flame to experience the eternal and everlasting love of the divine.
I am love.
I am love.
I am peace. I am peace in my heart.
In my heart,
I am free.
I am free.
I am spirit.
I am spirit.
I am soul.
I am soul.
All together,
All together,
we are whole. Calling in the light. Calling in the light. Calling in the light of love. Calling in the light. Calling in the light. Calling in the light of love. And so it is. And so it is. And so it is.
please join me in a spiritual mind treatment. Recognizing that there's only one light, one life, one love, and that we're all a part of it all. And so in this awareness and this recognition, let's take a moment and honor ourselves. Honor ourselves for wherever we're at on our spiritual journey. Let's take a moment and praise ourselves, looking behind us for the progress that we've made, but consciously aware and celebrating where we're at in our lives, releasing any judgment of any experiences, any conditions, any personalities, any situations that we may have experienced. Embracing them all, for they have all been learning experiences for each and every person here today. We take a moment and honor ourselves, praising ourselves for the great work that we have done individually and collectively. And so I celebrate each and every person here today, and we celebrate each other, knowing that together we support each other, further uplifting ourselves, each other, and looking forward to the path that lay before each and every one of us. The burden of life has been lifted from us, knowing that we have the tools to help move us forward, knowing that there will be spiritual challenges, physical challenges, but we are better prepared through the recognition that there is no power in anything behind us, that there is only one power, the power of the divine. And through our conscious directed thoughts, followed by conscious directed action, we are able to move through life confidently, successfully, gracefully, poised, ready for whatever life presents it. And so we settle into this awareness. Settle into this knowing and settling into this truth. Asking life to bring it on, saying that we are ready. We are ready. We are ready. And so with deep gratitude, with full assurance in our hearts, we release this into the universe, knowing that we have the full support of the entire universe behind us. Together we say, and so it is.
Terry, Julia, Lenore. Yes, thank you. Beautiful, thank you. Have you ever had to adapt to things on the spot in life? Anybody? Just us? Okay. So in the vein of that, so thank you all for that. Life changes, right? Things change all the time. Right now we have our older, I don't want to use older, but our prior audio engineer in the back, Bob, who came back to visit, and our new one, Travis, who is here. And Bob's waving like he's the queen in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. But things change all the time and evolve, and I want to honor Travis for working really diligently to change a lot here from an audio perspective for us. So you'll hear things new and different around here right now as we're tweaking our sound, not only for here in the room. He's helping Congregation Kolami, the organization that we share space with here in our home. He's helping us work on getting some buzzing out of things. So there's a lot taking place, as well as you'll notice there's some new ways of entering and exiting the building that's taking place here. Being a house of worship, it's important to raise our vibrational frequency to the highest method possible for safety and concern for all of us here. And so just be patient with us as we move through that, knowing that that's what we're doing. We're just setting it up here so that we are servicing our community the best of our ability. So in that vein, there will be no entrance or exits through this door on the side anymore. So just know that. So everything will come in and out through the driveway or the new pedestrian gate. So I wanted you to know that. I'm so happy to have our musician here today, Jami Lula. We have a long, rich history, and without making this about me or him, I will make it about the service that he does in the world. Jami has traveled the world singing not only original music but other music as his ministry. He's touched the lives of countless numbers of people with his music and with his presence and with his soul. He's done that both individually and collectively as a part of a music team. Right now he does some work with Gary Floyd as the Floyd Lula team, which is doing a lot of work. But this is a man who his passion in life is to share his music from his soul with the desired goal that it touches your soul. So without further ado, I invite my brother, Jami Lula, to the bima. Thank you.
And we're going to start a group called Men in Black.
Yes.
Grateful.
So speaking of changing on a dime, Andy sent me a topic this week, and then I got here, and he said, no, it's this. It's not this, it's this. So we had to change around a little bit this morning. I said I got a couple songs. There's my boy in a bucket in the backyard under the sun. Thank you. He's got his head down looking in the water just to see what he'll find. It won't take too long till he's off to search for somebody else. I'm gonna pay close attention to the moments just to see for myself. I'm not waiting for the time to be right. I'm gonna give that boy my life like I wanted for myself. I can't go back to where I've never been. Calling time, I'm choosing him. I'm so happy with my baby boy, and my wife, she bring me love and joy. I'm so grateful, grateful, I am so grateful, grateful. Now there's a woman in my bed with a past that I recognize. It's not mine, but I know where she's been, and I realize we got together for a reason, and I just can't run away like I did in the past. Now I made a commitment to stay. I'm not waiting for the time to be right. I'm gonna give that girl my life like I wanted for myself. I can't go back to where I've never been. There's always a choice, I'm choosing them. I'm so happy with my baby boy, and my wife, she bring me love and joy. I'm so grateful, grateful, I am so grateful. Grateful, I am so grateful. Grateful, I am so grateful. Grateful. Oh Lord, won't you help me to be the man that you intended to see? I've fallen down for so long, now I stand in your grace. I know that you are the spark in my step and light on my face. I am so grateful, grateful. I am so grateful, grateful. I am so grateful, grateful. Don't you feel a little grateful, grateful? Won't you sing it with me? Grateful, grateful. Don't you feel a little grateful, grateful? I am so grateful, grateful. I am so grateful. Here we go now. I'm grateful, so grateful.
And Andy Belling. Good job, thank you. Wonderful. I'm grateful that the oil that you wear has fragrance. I can just smell it. It's wonderful. It's so rich and beautiful. Every time I smell it, I'm like, there's my brother, Jami Lula. So good. So there were two men that were walking through a field one day when they spotted an enraged bull. Instantly, they darted to the nearest fence. The storming bull followed in hot pursuit, and it was soon apparent they wouldn't make it. Terrified, the one shouted to the other, "Put up a prayer, John. We're in for it." John answered, "I can't. I've never made a public prayer in my life." "But you must," said his companion. "The bull is catching up to us." "All right," panted John. "I'll pray the only prayer I know, the one my father used to repeat at the table. Oh Lord, for what we're about to receive make us truly grateful. So the theme for today is gratitude. And as we heard Jami sing about it just a moment ago, it really is about being grateful in life. So I'm going to frame gratitude for us today a little differently than probably what you're accustomed to. Gratitude, as a noun, is the quality of being thankful. The quality of being thankful. It's not just an act, it's an actual quality. And I'd like to align that as a quality equal to one of the qualities of the divine that we speak of every Sunday that we have within us, which is peace, power, beauty, joy, light, life, love, and wisdom. Those are the 8 qualities in metaphysics that are believed that are inherent within us, being full expressions of the divine. So I'd like for us to think of gratitude as being one of those. Peace, power, beauty, joy, light, life, love, wisdom, and gratitude is that which is within us that as we acknowledge it, it reflects our divine nature. Well, you might be asking yourself, well, how is that going to be able to be incorporated into the season of nonviolence that we're continuing to practice here at the Center for Spiritual Living? We are moving into week 4 of this time that is called Season for Nonviolence, Carry the Vision, from January 30th to April 4th. And nonviolence is reflected or addressed in this context. Nonviolence is the personal practice of being harmless to self and others under every condition. It comes from the belief that hurting people, animals, or the environment is unnecessary to achieve an outcome and refers to a general philosophy of abstention from violence. This may be based on moral, religious, or spiritual principles, or it may be purely strategic or for pragmatic reasons. As I've said in the previous Sundays, and I will say again today and each Sunday during this season for nonviolence, we're looking at being an active component in the season for nonviolence for spiritual purposes. And those are this, or spiritual principles. That is, acknowledging that there is only one thing taking place ever. I know it's a big idea when you look at it, but in understanding the foundation of the teachings of the science of mind and every other related teaching of this nature, is that the one thing that's taking place is the activity of the divine. That there's only one power, one action, one life, one mind, one. And that we each individualize that power and express it and experience it through our thoughts and our beliefs and our actions and our reactions and our interactions. So when I say one, it's so that we're really clear there isn't more than one. In other words, there isn't Jesus and the devil, or God and the devil, or 10 different gods out there. There's only one. And that we live in a universe that is governed by spiritual law or cause and effect. That what is in the mind is brought forth into form, which is the effect as a result of cause. The one power, which is governed by spiritual law, makes itself known. It creates through the individual, through the law of creation, and the effect is the experience of the very thing itself. Which takes us to the third principle, which is that within this oneness, we are all interconnected as spiritual sentient beings. Now that in and of itself, those 3 things are a lot to take in. Would you not agree with that? I mean, that's a lot to take in. And it's a lot to take in then to frame that in the context that we are to be grateful during the season of nonviolence, if not forever, when what we're being called to do during this season is to see injustice as it's taking place on our planet and doing something about it. Now, I was really thinking about how to present this to you, and I thought I just need to follow my intuition on it, right? But the thing is that if we are seeing injustice, and there's a whole litany of what injustices all are, but we know what an injustice is, right? Partiality, bigotry, that goes to people suffering, the list goes on and on and on. How do we look at that and know that it exists and have gratitude at the same time? Well, for lack of a better way to do that, and I'm not saying there aren't, but the way we're going to look at this morning is that having gratitude as a quality of the divine, and knowing that that individual or sentient being that is experiencing an injustice also has the qualities of the divine within them, and knowing that we live in a universe that's governed by spiritual law, that which we focus on must bring that into experience, right, as we focus on that. And as individuals who are giving by nature, when we give that which we are to others in mind, not just in form, then the universe's responsibility is to rise up vibrationally and meet at that place. That too, a big idea, but I'm going to develop it in just a minute. So are you with me so far? So the way that we do that, but remember, our goal here during this time in the season for nonviolence is to consciously be able to have gratitude while being faced with something that seems contrary to the spiritual truth that all there is God. Your mind might hurt after today. You okay with that? All right, so what are we called to do then? What we're called to do then is to practice gratitude, not solely as an action, but practice gratitude as an engagement of the quality of the divine that exists within us. And in so doing, that aligns us with the grace of God. Now remember, when we say the grace of God in this teaching, we're not saying it in the context that we're waiting from some being in a stone chair in the sky to possibly issue us good. The grace of God in metaphysical terms is being in alignment with the divine nature of what's transpiring and experiencing it and knowing that you're experiencing it as it happens. In Course of Miracle terms, that's called a miracle. It is creating a new perspective relative to what is transpiring in physical form and seeing it as a divine outcome. With me so far? I'm hoping you're going to say yes. All right, so this says, practicing gratitude aligns you with the grace of God, the divine givingness of life, and opens your heart in a way that allows you to live in the truth. I'm going to read that again. Practicing gratitude, practicing the divine that exists within, aligns you with the very grace of that presence, that power, the divine givingness of life, and opens our heart in a way that allows us to live in truth. Well, what is the truth? That there's only one power, it's called God, or unless you want to call it something else, that we live in a universe that's governed by spiritual law. We experience in outward form that which we're thinking and we have in our consciousness, and that we're all interconnected. That's the truth we're speaking of. When in the space of practicing gratitude, then, as a quality of the divine, then there's only room in life for love, appreciation, acceptance, kindness, generosity, and receptivity to life that aligns the individual with their good in life. So how do we do this? Why is then it important to practice gratitude while acknowledging that in form there's something contrary to what appears to be God? Well, it's important to know that we can hold two ideas at the same time. Think about that for a second. You can hold two ideas at the same time. One of my dear teachers and mentors in this philosophy, Dr. Maureen Hoyt, says that so often we come into this teaching thinking that it has to be God or the devil, that something has to be good or bad, right? That we're either being creative or we're not. But this philosophy, this faith, this way of life is not an or teaching. It's an and teaching. Meaning that we can know that we are the power and the presence of God fully realized, and there can be social injustice in the world, and we can know that those that are suffering are also the power and the presence of God fully realized, and that there's a law in the universe that can change all things that is being experienced, and that individual that's fully realized may not know how to do that, and we can tap into mind and do something about it, and it could still show up different than what we want it to be. Does that make sense? All of those things can happen simultaneously. What's really taking place there, as we talked about in class this week, is that's actually an understanding of quantum physics. I'm not going to go deep into that right now. But that's what I want us to look at, is that these things, these ideas, these expressions can take place. And it's not just that they can. They are indeed taking place, for lack of a better term, simultaneously. We only use simultaneously so that we can wrap our head around that it is the continuity that's taking place. All right? Now, that may blow your mind. Or you might go, wow, that blows my mind. I love this. Let's dive deeper into it. Well, for me, I'm like, I like for my mind to be blown, so let's dive deeper into that. It's important then for us to look at our role in the co-creative process of engaging in transformation on our planet, should we desire to do so, and especially since we know that we have the capacity to do so. Well, it's important for us then to tend to what? Old school metaphysics says tend to your mind. I say tend to your mind, but also tend to your frequency. Tend to your field of vibrations. Tend to more than just what you're thinking. Tend to how you show up in the world. As a physical being, as a metaphysical being, as an entity, as a vibrational frequency, all of that. Show up. Be aware that when you show up into the world, you have shown up into the world a good 20 seconds prior to your physical showing up, because you're so clear of the force field that you have around you. Not just that what you're emitting to the universe, but what you're consciously tuned into that you are attracting into the universe with you. Now, doing it in that sense is how indeed we step into transforming the planet so that there's less injustice in the world than there currently is. It will not do us any good to drop to our butt, sit in a lotus position, and solely pray. Doesn't mean don't do that. It means and get off your butt and do something else. That's what we're being called to do here. This morning, in preparing for this message, I was listening to a chant, and the chant was, and it was Etika and Lisa. Etika's probably with us right now, right? Who's moved on to another domain. And it was, I am that I am, 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 that I am. Those are not new words, right? They're not new words. However, we can have a radically new experience around them if we're willing to open ourselves up to know the very depths of our soul, what indeed we are, and what power that we have when we realize we are the very thing itself that gives life to every single thing in the cosmos and beyond. And to know that we were given this power as life. Elizabeth Gilbert tells us that you were given life, and it is your duty and also your entitlement as a human being to find something beautiful within life, no matter how slight. What she's telling us there is it's our duty as awakened beings on this planet to find beauty, to find gratitude, to find joy, to find peace, to find power, to find light, life, love, and wisdom within our life, no matter what's going on out here. Because if we don't choose to find it within here, we're never going to see it out here. It doesn't happen out here and then we go, yep, I'm aligned with that. I'm going to align with that. It's not the way it works. The way it works is we align with it within. We know that we live from courage, and that we are the peace of God. We are the power of God. We're the light of God. We're the life of God. We express the joy and the beauty and the wisdom and the gratitude of God. And as we find ourselves founded deeply within that as a spiritual truth, we're not creating it, it's already there. Then living in a world that's governed by spiritual law, the law of attraction, we must then attract that to us. And then know that as we attract it to us, we are worthy of that and more. What we're doing when we choose to live that way, living from the inside out, not letting the outer be how we decide how we want to live life, is we're living from a place of healing. With each and every vibrational frequency and every aspect of thought, every consciousness that moves upward, if you will, to a higher vibration while going deeper into our soul, we're healing the very thing within us that is being called to be healed, which is wrong thinking, wrong identity, wrong knowing of who we are as spiritual beings. In the book, The Science of Mind, Dr. Ernest Holmes addresses this concept of healing, what we're going over in class for 8 weeks, in this way. He says mental healing means mind healing. To heal means to make whole. Healing is not creating a perfect idea or perfect body. It is revealing an idea which is already perfect. Disease is a fact, but not a truth. It's an experience, but not a spiritual reality. Well, what is he telling us there? He's saying that in the outer world is simply a reflection of the inner, that we can't work in the external world to try to heal something, because anything that's out of alignment with its divine nature in the external can only be healed when the internal gets aligned with its divine nature. Does that make sense? He's saying that's what happens. But yet we live in a world where we want to fix all of this. But it's important for us to know today and wake up and listen to this today and agree to this today, not because I'm saying it, but because it's a spiritual truth, because you came here today to hear that, is to stop that. Stop it and start focusing inward, because you'll never be able to accomplish it out here because you're playing in the wrong realm. The realm is within. To go within and choose to know that you are an enlightened being. Carl Jung says that one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. What he means by that is the darkness that is within us that seems to be dormant, if you will, is only dormant because light's not on it. It's still there, those places are still within us, but as we place the light on it, the light of the divine, it illuminates it and then reflects its own nature, which is light. It's important for us to know that what we focus on comes back to us, not out here, in here. Zig Ziglar tells us that life is an echo, that what you send out comes back. What you sow, you reap. What you give, you get. What you see in others exists in you. Remember, he writes, life is an echo. It always comes back to you. So then, give goodness. But he's not saying give goodness so much here. He's saying give it here. And then when you give it here, it reflects in the outer. In class, I handed out, you'll see this, it's a large magnet, right? But what's attracted to itself are nails, which cause pain. But the question is, what are you attracting back in your world right now? Now, we also learned that a magnet, by its vibrational frequency, isn't just attracting. It's both attracting and repelling. So it's important to know that as we tend to our consciousness, we are, yes, attracting that which we are in alignment with, but we're also repelling that which isn't in alignment with us. So it's really important in this evolutionary process of tending to your consciousness, owning your divinity, that you get really clear on what it is that you want to repel away from you. It's about choosing to ask yourself, what frequency do I want to vibrate at today? There's a writing called Living from a Higher Vibration, and higher vibrational frequency is something that's written and talked about a lot today in modern metaphysics. And here's what's written. Physicists are starting to come together around the notion that every single thing is created from some sort of vibrating energy. This is how we can get something out of nothing. Of course, others have known this for centuries. Countless shamans and spiritual teachers have talked about the need to raise our vibrational rate to that of love and peace, divine qualities, and that when we do that, something new emerges different from what came before. Now, you notice it didn't say something new was created. It says something new emerges, meaning that it's always been there, because everything that ever can be expressed or experienced already exists in pure potentiality. We've known that, right? It goes on to write, it behooves us then to ask ourselves, what is the vibrational rate or frequency of our life or my life? Fear, anger, distrust are all lower frequencies. So are negativity, complaint, and blame. When this is our primary conversation and thought pattern, we're definitely contributing to lowering the vibrational rate of our own lives and of those around us. Key piece here. So in other words, you bring in your frequency with you. So if you walk into a party, what do you want to take into there? Some nasty old low vibration? Only if it's a nasty low vibration party, right? But if you're walking into a high vibration party, you want to take a high or higher vibration with you. This author goes on to write, on the other hand, isn't it nice to be around people who are energetic, positive, in love with life, and generally happy? That's because they're vibrating at a higher rate. This higher frequency is stimulating, engaging, uplifting. Love, enthusiasm, joy, and even a positive sense of power all cause us to vibrate at a higher rate. The primary thing to remember is that this vibrational rate is not determined by what's outside. It's by what's inside. Neuroscientists tell us that it's much better not to let ourselves go into those negative states, but rather to keep our mind fixed on the positive regardless of what's happening around us. Or, I don't really like that P word that ends in E. I would prefer life affirming. So let's reframe that. Neuroscientists tells us that it's much better to not let ourselves go into those less than divine states of mind, but rather to keep our mind fixed on the life affirming ideas and beliefs regardless of what's happening around us. In this way, we determine what's going on in our minds. What we focus on raises or lowers our vibrational rate. Thus, consciousness is cause. We're just being told here in a new way that what we reap, what we sow, we reap. We're being told that what we put out comes back. And so what does that matter in the sense or the context if we're agreeing that we're being called here to make a difference on this planet so that there are less social, political, human indifferences or injustice than there is today? What we're being told here is that we must tend to our thoughts, our beliefs, our actions, our reactions, and then take action. That's what we're being told. Is that which we desire to see differently in the world is, yes, our responsibility, but to not just fix it out here. Not by just showing up and giving clothes, not by just showing up and giving food, not just by giving money, not just by sitting in a room and praying, but to actually create a state of mind that you indeed are making a difference. And in addition to that, you're giving money, clothes, whatever, fill in the blank. But when you do that, be really, really, really clear to the state of mind to which you're giving it. Are you giving it out of pity or shame or guilt? Or are you doing it because you know that you're a conduit for transformation of change? That you are indeed giving with an open mind and an open heart, honoring the divine that exists in the individual that's sitting on the side of the road that has dirty, dirty clothes, they haven't bathed for a while, and more than likely they may not even be aware that they're sitting where they are. That individual too is the completeness, the wholeness, and the perfection of the divine that we speak of, or none of this is true. I personally like to think it is true. How about you? But what's important for us to remember here is that we don't have to make anything happen. We don't have to make anything happen because it's all already there in that field of pure potentiality. The author Derek Rydell tells us this: what you want in life is already here in the unified field of pure potential. Everything you need to fulfill your greatest desire is already part of your being. But it can't come out until you align with it. Let go of the obstructions to it and raise your vibration to the level which it already exists. Today, I encourage you, I even might instruct you, to give yourself the gift of a spiritual experiment. To walk beyond these four walls today and put yourself in an environment that physically feels uncomfortable so that you can stand in this resonance field of discomfort and ask yourself, what do I know to be the spiritual truth? It's what I'm seeing before me that appears to be something completely contrary to what I used to think was a full expression of the divine. Is that what's in front of me? And stand there until you know with every fiber of your being that we are indeed one. And then give from that perspective. Have a conversation with someone that you normally wouldn't. We have a congregant here that spends time every Sunday at the end of the Sunday with our lovely, beautiful angel out here named Elliot, who's dirty. I mean, the dude, I don't think he's seen a bath in, 15 years, you know. I mean, he's got some interesting hygiene. But he's an angel. He truly is an angel. He's an angel that walks among us. There was a moment here at an event that took place a few weeks ago. There's a very, very, very expensive painting that's on the wall upstairs. There's a lot of expensive art in this building, by the way. And someone was drawn to this environment to be here for that event that took place. But that same individual also walked out with that painting. And let's just say that painting was more than everything was 20 grand plus. We'll just leave it at that, right? And so obviously we were a little unsettled around here. The individual that took it felt very guilty about it, realized he'd made a mistake, returned the painting, stuck it through the gate over there. But it was a Sunday afternoon when it was about to rain. Elliot saw that, came over, tried to get the painting in a place where it would stay dry. He couldn't, so he went and found a broomstick and then pushed it up against the wall to make sure it stayed dry. So here's a man, right, that by all physical appearances is contrary to everything that we think people are supposed to be and look like. And he doesn't hold a great conversation. He holds an interesting conversation, but it's not always, I vibrate at a pretty high frequency, so he and I have some interesting times, right? But yet deep within him is God. And he knows that. And he knows how to express that, right? And he takes it upon himself that this is his home. And so he does every single thing he can to protect all of us and this physical environment. And so he moved that over there and stood guard until someone showed up to put it in its proper and right place. Now, I share that with you today, not to have any guilt show up from you or any what force, just to share with you that things are taking place. Things are taking place. That's the quantum physics that we live in today. There are things happening at many different levels all the time. And it's all an outward expression of the only thing that takes place, and that is God. And so create a mindset today that as you walk away from here, that you have the ability to have the quality of gratitude deep within you that you can bring forward, bring up, rise up, and send it out and both express it and engage in it with people, with animals, with sentient beings, with trees, with life itself. And in so doing, you will then create the change that you desire to see in the world, which is exactly what Mahatma Gandhi asked us to do, which is who we're honoring during this time of nonviolence from January 30th to April 4th. The opportunity is for you and for me to truly be that change, but let's do it, not out of guilt, but as awakened beings finding personal self-empowerment on the journey that we're on, which is our life. Have a good Sunday. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome back, James.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So it's my honor to present to you again Jami Lula and Andy Belling.
So this is actually a chant. This is not the song that we rehearsed, but I was just hearing what Keith was saying. And I wrote this a while ago during a talk that Reverend Joan Stedman. So it'll be very easy to sing, so I expect you to all put your Catholicism in the back seat and join us in your Pentecostal.
We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the love that we seek. We are the seeds we are sowing. We are the harvest we reap. One more time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the love that we seek. are the seeds we are sowing. We are the harvest we reap. Next part. Oh, I am that I am. Oh, I am that I am. We are the ones. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the love that we seek. We are the seeds we are sowing. We are the harvest we reap. One more time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the love that we seek. We are the seeds. We are the seeds we are sowing. We are the harvest. We are the harvest we reap. I am. Oh, I am that I am. Oh, I am that I am. I am. Oh, I am that I am. Yes, I am that I am. We are the ones. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the love that we seek. We are the seeds we are sowing. We are the harvest we reap. Oh, we are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the love that we seek. We are the seeds we are sowing. We are the harvest we reap. I am. Come on. I am. I am. Oh, I am. That I am. I am. I am. That I am. Oh, I am. That I am. We are the ones we've been waiting for. Come on. We are the love that we seek. We are the seeds we are sowing. We are the harvest we reap. One more time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the love that we seek. We are the seeds we are sowing. We are the harvest we reap. We are the harvest. We are the harvest we reap. One more time. We are the harvest we reap.